Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 26, 2026 Historic Preservation Commission meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the HPC. Notice has been given in the Montclair Times, the Star Ledger, and the Herald News. A notice has also been posted in the hallway in City Hall. We are being broadcast live on Channel 34, the Montclair Public Television Channel, and we are also being live streamed on Montclair Township's YouTube channel. Roll call, please.
Chair Bennett.
Present.
Vice Chair Graham is excused. Mr. Rooney.
Here.
Mr. Reimnitz is excused. Mr. Sweeney.
Yeah.
Mr. Giuliano.
Here.
Ms. Kane-Levy.
Here.
Mr. Mixer is excused. Ms. Floyd is excused. Ms. Talley is excused, as is Ms. Bauer. Mr. Smolin.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes, and these minutes are from January 22nd, 2026.
And I'll just remind the commission, eligible to vote on the minutes are Mr. Rooney and Ms. Kane-Levy.
Eligible or ineligible?
No, those eligible,
Okay.
because they were present for that meeting.
Okay, so does anyone have any changes or addendum to the minutes? Okay, well, I have one. First of all, I was here, so you have me excused. And John, Jerry, and Nick were not here? January. Okay, and Zena was not here. And Ms. Bauer was not here. Okay. Then on page 3, line 66. Oh, no, forget that. That was my mistake. On page 5, line 168, it says retain the front porch columns. It should be as the commission considers them essential, not if. And then on the last page, on page 6, on line 190, Susan Firth, she was the architect, correct? Mm-hmm. Can you just identify her, Susan Firth?
She's not the licensed architect, but she works with Ms. Rombo's architecture firm.
Okay, so can you phrase that?
Yeah, I will
Because-
describe her relation, yes.
Right, because her relationship to the project,
Yeah.
because it was unclear. So with those changes, can we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I move to accept.
Second?
Second.
Okay, there you go. Resolutions, we have no resolutions. Being that we did not have a February meeting due to a lack of applications, but we've been very busy during the last 2 months. So minor applications committee met on February 26th. Application 2026-4, drip fitness at 6 Gates Avenue was approved with conditions. Application 2026-5, Clementina at 627 Valley Road was approved with conditions. March 12th, we met, the minor applications committee met, and a C of A was awarded to 469 Bloomfield Avenue with a revised plan for the signage, which included the neon signage. March 26th, we met, which was today. Application 2026-8, Leone's, is pending approval. 2026-9, 54 Park Street, Constantino Architecture was approved with conditions. Application 2026-10, Dawn to Dusk was at 209 Glenridge Avenue was approved with conditions. On March 13th, the minor applications committee met again for application 2026-7, which was a C of A certificate of appropriateness for 581 Valley Road, St. James. That was approved as presented. And then design review met on the same day. 2026-01, 580 Valley Road we reviewed the revised design and generated a memo to the planning board, which they are using at this point to look at the design for the Swim Quest building. And I actually attended the planning board meeting this week to argue our point in the design, which was based on this memo, and which I sent to everybody. Everybody should have gotten that. On March 13th, the design review committee met for the Bellevue Theater mural. We met concerning the placement of the mural panel on the east side of the building. And we also met about the west side of the building because they requested a letter of support to go to the planning board for a variance for the signage that they proposed for the west side of the building, which will be heard this month, later this month. Okay, so May is Preservation Month, and we've asked Zanab to update the application on the website for awards, which I checked, but you haven't done that yet, right?
It's pending. I sent it in today.
Okay. So anybody out there that's watching, if anybody has any suggestions for a preservation award, please contact the planning department and Zanab, and she will inform the awards committee, which I believe is Steve, myself, and Zena at this point.
I think so.
Okay. Grants, the CLG grant. We are going to reapply for the CLG grant. We did not receive it last year, but it was only due for one little piece of information that wasn't included, which is going to be included now. Have you heard from the?
We received that in the cost proposal.
Okay, great. So we're reapplying for that grant, which was the survey of the south end. And then the annual report is due soon. You working on that?
Yes, I'm just about to finish both of those pieces, the grant and the report, but I'll have you look at it before I submit.
Okay, great. And then can you give us an update on the New Jersey Trust grant for the
Yeah,
preservation
so,
plan?
The grant information packet to execute the grant agreement is due tomorrow, so they should receive that today or tomorrow with all of the signatures and resolutions to execute that. After that, they will send us that agreement, and we can then apply for consultants and send out our RFPs from there.
Yeah, it's quite a long process, because it was a
Yes, it
year
is,
ago.
yeah.
I just realized in April that we
Mhm.
actually applied for it, so.
And we need a full suite of professionals for this, so I think it'll be a little bit before we get started on this.
Okay, all right, thank you. So also in outreach is, besides the awards, is a training session, which we've decided to keep to April 23rd. And everybody on the commission, the CLG people require a training session. And if you're not able to come to this, there are other opportunities, including New Jersey Historic Trust, which has a conference usually in June. I think this year it's going to be in Morristown. But if you're not able to attend the April 23rd, and this is for the members of the commission that aren't here tonight, Stephen will be the one presenting, and he will be recording it. So as long as you watch that, if you're not able to come, that would be considered a training session.
Yep.
And one of the requirements for the CLG.
And we'll start at 6:30 p.m. if you are able to join in person for the
Right.
training.
And that's April 23rd. And then we also have for May.
Sorry to interrupt. Are there any preferences on a topic
You know what? We haven't discussed that yet.
Yeah.
Let's, okay.
at the end?
At the-
maybe? Okay.
Yeah. But why don't you, why don't you gave me 4 topics. The one was the demolition ordinance.
Yes, so what I had proposed was demolition reviews, new construction reviews, substitute and imitative materials, or the use of property surveys. Or anything else. I'm flexible.
Yeah. So just, we don't have to answer right now, but if you just keep that in mind, and we'll send out a poll maybe in a couple of
Mhm.
weeks and ask the other commissioners.
I also don't think that us discussing the demo ordinance precludes us from having a training. I think it might be informative to see what best practices are.
Okay,
But
all right.
just my 2 cents.
And then the other thing is the HP element of the master plan. We have to re-examine that, which is required by the state. And we're thinking of doing that in May and asking for public input on that. So if people were able to come for that, that would be great. We're going to try to coordinate that with the award ceremony and then start the meeting. So the award ceremony, 6:30, and then just segue into the public discussion.
Do you think 6:30 or 7 for awards? We normally have started them at 7.
But we're not going to have enough time then.
Okay, we can do 6:30. I'll have to send out maybe an amended notice for that meeting. But we can start with the awards and then go into the hearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
And that's May 21st at 6:30 PM.
Okay, thank you, Zainab. Any other things that I've missed for committee reports? Anybody else have any information? No? All right, public comment. Anybody sitting in the audience for public comment? No? Okay, public comment is closed. No old business, but we do have new business. So the first application up for review is the Board of Adjustment Referral, application 2962, 12 Montclair Avenue. And so if I can ask the representatives to come forward. And while you're setting up, I'm just going to introduce the application, okay? So as I said, this is a recommendation to the zoning board. The applicant proposes to demolish the facade, an existing second and half story, and rebuild an expanded second floor for the dwelling. The ground story will also be expanded to the rear with a new powder room. At the front, the existing porch will be rebuilt and a new covered porch will be added in front of the entrance. A new two-car garage will be constructed at the rear of the property. And this property, as I said, is located at 12 Montclair Avenue. The historic significance, the subject property is part of the Christopher Street Potential Historic District. Christopher Hink laid out the Christopher Street area between 1885 and 1901 and developed it between 1900 and 1929. The area consists of 2 to 3 story single-family houses built in a variety of styles, including Queen Anne shingle and 20th century revival styles. Prominent architectural materials include wood, brick, and stucco. These houses feature relatively large front yards, porches, awnings, ocular windows, stained glass, and notable ornamentation, including scroll work. And the applicant, this application is requesting 4 variances from Montclair Code, and 1 is setback, 1 is impervious coverage of the lot, 2 impervious coverage of the lot, and 1 is to build an accessory structure in the back. As I didn't say, but I will say now, the subject property is located in the R2 two-family zone district and is designated on township maps as Lot 12 in Block 3301. So we have 2 representatives here. I have to swear you in, so if you could just raise your right hand and then tell me what your relationship is to the project. Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth as regarding this application?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is George Held. I'm the architect for the application. With me is Ryan Hart. He's the homeowner.
Okay, George. Okay, thank you. Mr. Hill and Mr. Hart. Now, Zanip has put up the plans on the screen, so if you,
Could take you through it?
exactly.
Okay.
And remember, we're dealing with the exterior, not the interior plan.
Okay, so interesting that you say that, because a lot of the changes of the interior affected the exterior fenestration somewhat of this building. So I brought these pictures this evening because I think it's important to understand the character of the existing house and what we went through to get from here to there. All right, so this is an older structure in very poor condition. It's been run down for a number of years. My client purchased it
In 2023?
2023. So we've gone through a number of different design revisions, come up with the one that you see on your screen right now. Predominantly, it is, the existing house has an enclosed front porch that is supported on some masonry piers that are very poor condition that need to be replaced. So one of the drivers here is to rebuild the front porch, and in rebuilding the front porch, we're enclosing it with normal construction rather than just uninsulated windows and uninsulated floor and walls. So that piece of architecture will remain. We're not encroaching any further to the street than it is now, but it will incur a front yard variance because in speaking with the zoning officer, he felt that we're taking that a little bit further and we're also extending it straight up. So in doing that, we're adding new windows to the front of the house. We are stripping the siding from the house and adding new siding throughout the entire house. We are demolishing part of the second floor, adding a new part of the second floor to the rear of the house, and adding a new half-story, which will give us a new roof line on the house. The existing house is kind of a mix of Dutch colonial with a gambrel roof, which is part of the character of the house, but it doesn't carry through. It shows on some of the elevations, but certainly not on the rear and not on the other sides of the house. So that architecture, we kind of discarded and said, okay, we can't make that work with the new design. So we've come up with, can we switch to the elevations?
And may I just ask, I think we have most of the pictures that were included in the planning. Okay.
So so can we go to the elevations? Yes. Okay, so if I may, I'll block this. So, new front elevation as characterized here, if you compare it to what the existing house is. We've removed the gambrel roof and the two smaller dormers, added a second floor with a hip roof and articulated gables on either side. The windows that we proposed are casement windows.
I don't think the microphone's on.
I'm sorry?
Yes, it's on.
Okay. The windows we've proposed are casement windows with a composite siding, AZAC trim, and asphalt shingles, which I think in looking at most of the homes in the neighborhood are characterized with the same type of finishes in the neighborhood. I think from where we are here to what the existing house is, I think this is a big improvement to the house and to the neighborhood. I don't know if there's anything else the committee would like to see on this house, but we're willing to talk about it.
So that's the front facade, the proposed front facade.
This, yes, south elevation.
So what we'll do is we'll open it up to the commissioners. We'll ask questions if that is the end of your testimony. Or do you want to speak about the side elevate? If you move the image, yeah, is that the side elevation?
This is the east elevation, and if you drop down, and the west elevation.
Okay. All right, thank you. So our commissioners will now ask questions. We'll
Okay.
open up for questions. So Caroline, would you like to start?
Sure, so the composite siding that you're using is what, sort of a cement board siding or
Yeah, characteristic, that's hardy plank?
hardy plank? And
Yes.
will it have a painted finish?
Yes.
Okay. And can it be painted on the site, or is it like the one that
We
they-
haven't chosen colors yet.
We could do it either way.
Okay.
Like, so, hi, my name's Ryan Hart.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually a builder in town. I
Mr.
purchased-
Hart, do you mind just coming to this mic
Sure,
and
sure.
pressing the push button before?
Okay.
Yeah, right there, perfect.
Okay. So my name's Ryan Hart. I'm a builder in town. This is my wife's grandparents' house. It passed from her grandparents to her father and her aunt and a cousin, and then to us when the last descendant of her grandparent, or the last child of her grandparent passed away in 2023. So our goal here is to restore it and make it a family house. We just moved to Montclair. We're currently renting on Euclid Place. We moved to Montclair before the school year started in 2025. My son's at Bradford, my other son's at MC Pre-K. I came to Montclair. I was living in Caldwell, and I was working. I'm a carpenter by trade and a building contractor, and I was working as a subcontractor for Jack Finn. He's been a builder in Montclair for 40 years, and we had a really good relationship, and I ended up purchasing his business. So it became very important to me to be a resident in Montclair, because it's so important to my business and my family, and my wife grew up with her grandparents in town and all of that. So that's the, sorry to bore you, but that's the story on this house. It's
Okay.
it's a generational house, and
Right.
we just want to restore it and make it appropriate for my
For a
family.
family, for a growing family.
Yeah, so I have two
Yeah.
boys, a 4-year-old and about to turn 8-year-old, and that's essentially what we're trying to create here. As far as like the finishes on the exterior, because I'm a builder, I can do pretty much anything that satisfies, you know? Like, I want it to be, I respect the architecture in this town very much. I respect what you all do to keep it beautiful and significant and respectful of its history. So I'm very flexible on that. We started with a composite siding. Cedar's very expensive right now, astronomically expensive. But, you know, if you want a painted cedar house, that's fine. You know, we can do that. But our thought was that a composite, just to keep the maintenance down. That's where we are on that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah. So I'm hearing flexibility in terms of the finishes. So
Yeah.
if you do use a composite siding, I think the ones with a smooth finish instead of that wood grain
Yeah.
impression is usually
I'm with you
a
on
better
that.
solution.
Yeah.
And then I also questioned your use in the gable of a vertical siding, which is not really something that you see in a historic house in Montclair or on this
You're
street.
talking about the vertical
Yeah.
siding here?
I do know the street pretty well, and it's actually one of the earliest developments in Montclair.
Mhm.
And if you look at some of the other Queen Anne houses, there is a combination of clapboard and shingle.
Mhm.
So if you do want the combination of two different textures, I would suggest maybe a shingle in that area.
Okay.
Of
yeah.
course, I'm not asking questions now, but. And then also, do you have flexibility, I see in the plan, to rearrange some of the windows on the primary facade?
Sure.
So I think the pairing in, I don't know what happened to, where's the primary, the main facade?
Move it back down, Ryan, so we can see this.
Yeah, it's just, I'm wondering about not only the use of single-pane casement windows, which is sort of not a historic fenestration, so,
Sure.
and also the arrangement of the pair in, you know, the main body of the building, and then the triple wide window. If you could maybe think about rethinking that arrangement.
Sure. Could you provide, sorry, as a
Well,
builder,
I-
like,
I-
could you provide some direction as to what you think would be
I-
historically appropriate? Because
So you would
I want to
prefer
respect
these
that.
windows to be separate?
Yeah,
Oh.
either separate, yeah, just sort of
Yeah.
separate them and think about a multi-light configuration, a double-hung multi-light configuration.
Yeah, George had pointed out that it was a 2/1 originally. Would
Mm-hmm.
that be ideal in this situation, do you think?
Well, what I would suggest is to, and this is, I have a question for you, that what is required for the zoning board is a different presentation that would really help us. And that would be like a streetscape view to see what's happening on either side. And just walking along Montclair Avenue, there are a lot of Queen Anne houses with their original windows, and I would suggest walking along there and taking a look, unless, Stephen, you would have a suggestion as
It's a good suggestion, yeah.
moving the windows apart. That large three-part bay window is also not typical of a
Doesn't feel
Queen
right.
Anne. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know we're in the question phase.
Question, yes, yes.
Going, keep going.
Well, I think, well, since I'm on a roll, I'll just finish.
Yeah.
My comments were that I think this house, as Stephen has pointed out, has had a lot of alterations. So there is potentially a lot of room for enlarging it. And I think the massing that you've selected is sympathetic to what's going on in the rest of the streetscape. But the question about the the finishes, the material, and the fenestration is what came to my mind. Also, that square window in the gable at the top is a little bit of an anomaly.
If I may, I do have streetscape pictures.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, there is variety. I see, this one looks like an altered house, but I see where you're coming from with it.
There are combinations of
Yeah.
bay windows and joined windows throughout this neighborhood.
Yeah, I think those tend to be later alterations. But something to look at. Yeah, the square window in the gable is a little bit different than what you would see in a Queen
Okay,
Anne.
we can give you a different shape there, I think.
Yeah.
We have no
All right,
problem
so
with
those are
that.
my comments and
And
questions.
the vertical siding in the gables, if you prefer to go to a shingle thing, then we have
Yeah.
no issue with that as well.
Yeah.
Can I ask, as opposed to, because one of the things we talked about is the type of window being a casement rather than a double hung. If we were to put a check rail with a mullion to mimic the double hung, would that be satisfactory?
Well, they do make simulated double-hung windows that have an
Yeah.
operation like a
Casements.
casement, yeah. With,
Would that be acceptable?
well, we could have the other
George, I'm
commissioners
also
talk about
fine
that.
with just doing double hungs.
Okay.
on the facade of the house. It really is, like, basements are less expensive, and I'm working on a budget, I'm raising a family, all of those things, so.
I think,
but
you know,
to
it's
have-
less
to have-
important on the
yeah.
sides where it's not visible from the street.
Sure.
So the primary facade,
Yeah,
where
that's
it's
no
just a
problem.
street facing, I would tend to think a double-hung window is the way to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You have no issue with that?
Yeah.
But I don't know
I
what the
would-
rest of the commissioners have to
We'll just ask questions.
I don't have any questions, actually.
I have a question. What happened to the chimney?
The chimney,
The chimney we're being removed because it'll be direct vent heating and air conditioning equipment.
Oh, so the chimney goes.
Yes.
yeah, there was no fireplace in the house, it was just like a flue.
Flue.
Oh, okay,
Exhaust for the old like oil boiler.
okay.
So there's no room that, like, in the interior of the house where a fireplace really makes sense, so we're just gonna take it out,
Okay.
yeah.
Steve? Mr. Rooney, any other questions?
No.
Mr. Sweeney?
No.
Mr. Giuliano?
No, none that weren't already covered.
Okay. So you've received Mr. Smollen's report, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll ask Mr. Smollen to go over what you've,
Sorry.
no,
No,
that's,
that's fine,
Sorry,
that's why I
and
send
then
the
we'll
reports
go
around ahead of time.
into discussion. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to cover a few points that we haven't touched on yet, or to emphasize a few things. 12 Montclair Ave, I think presently exhibits a pretty low degree of historic integrity due to all these prior alterations that have happened to it over the last 100 years. Overall, today, it's making a minimal contribution to this potential historic district. So it's removal or substantial alteration that we're talking about tonight really doesn't diminish this potential district's ability to convey its historic significance in the future. I think the massing at 2.5 stories is consistent with the immediate context, particularly the properties to the north and south, which are far more historically significant properties than the one we're talking about tonight. The primary facade is, I think, overall compatible with the districts, but I would like to maybe touch on some options for the fenestration and potentially moving the windows apart, probably not having that flat bay window type configuration, and then maybe looking at a fenestration pattern that makes the building almost look taller with a little bit more of a vertical emphasis. I think double hungs are definitely appropriate here, 2 over 1, probably.
Is it like, is the appropriate historic thing to do like 2 here and 2 here?
I would say so, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's a living room and a front bedroom, so it's like,
And
we just
then,
want to get right, you know?
and then I think the gable end, that triangle-shaped piece at the top there would definitely be improved by doing shingles. There's a lot of that in that neighborhood, so I think that's a great suggestion. And that can be done with a composite material as well. If you want to do cedar shake and cedar siding, that would be awesome, but I think composite for this type of project in this neighborhood is fine.
Yeah, smooth, of course.
Smooth.
And like, do you think that, you know, the standard reveals on the Hardy, for example, which is like the general, I think it's 6 inches or 4 inches. What do you think is correct here? Historically?
I would pull it into 4 inches.
4 inches?
I think,
A 4-inch reveal?
yeah.
Okay.
That'll give you a little bit more like reveal between each piece, a little bit more of a shadow line. It'll look more like wood.
Yeah, I think that's probably what George drew here, so.
Might be 6. Looks a
Yeah.
little much, but fine. Also on, I guess, windows, I would change that diamond-shaped, almost postmodern window on the gable end too. I think that would be better as a smaller rectangular-shaped window,
Okay.
probably double hung.
Would you feel more comfortable with a round?
I wouldn't, but maybe the commission would on that. I don't think a round porthole window would be appropriate.
It's more like a porthole, but
Yeah.
we're trying to get away from that.
Okay, so either a double hung or omit it completely? What would be
Or how
the-
about an oval then?
An oval.
I would just stay with a vertical window.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, you agree with
Yeah,
that?
Is there an attic space up there, or what?
It is an unfinished attic space mostly for mechanical and storage.
Yeah, so,
Is there any precedent in the neighborhood that you saw for small windows in the gable?
Going through those pictures now. I mean, most of the windows we have, the bay windows and so on, are throughout the neighborhood, but
Nick, is there a window in that gable on the front page, on the building on the right?
Yeah, they're mostly just smaller double hungs,
Yeah.
smaller versions.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
second floor.
that's what you would prefer?
Yeah, yes, and then is there a side light on the door? We didn't ask about the door.
There's a window next to the door, it's not a side light.
Oh, it's a window. It's a regular double hung?
It could be a double hung window.
Okay,
yes.
all right, because I can really, oh, it's to the right. I'm reading that as
If
the,
that's the shadow line.
yes, okay, all right.
I would look at 11, 22, or 28 Montclair Ave for what to do with that window. They all have smaller double-hung windows at the gable end,
Okay.
Okay.
11, 12, or 28. Then, if it's possible, just to pan Actually, you can stay on that one south elevation. Adjacent to the door to the right of it, is that intended to be siding below the window or like a cement plaster finish? It returns on the
I
other
think
wall to
that For some
siding.
reason, the siding did not draw through. It
Okay.
should be normal siding there. I don't
Okay.
know why. It's just a computer.
And then is the cement plaster finish along the foundation painted,
Yes,
tinted,
we can paint that.
not cement?
Yeah,
In appearance.
So it's a rubble foundation. No, actually, where we're looking at, the foundation would be
That's new.
built.
That's
Yeah,
new.
because it's just a porch on piers. So there's like partial rubble foundation, partial very poorly constructed cinder foundation. I think all of it would get reinforced, and then probably
Parged.
coated with stucco,
Mhm.
like a smooth stucco that essentially just looks like a parge coat.
Mm-hmm.
But just something with some flexibility so that it wouldn't crack and.
And painted or tinted?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
And there'll be plantings in front of the immediate area there, I assume? Okay.
Yeah, it needs it.
And then at the top, we already covered that. Just on, if you pan to the left to the east elevation, I just had 2 or 3 questions over there. I think the entry would be improved by a railing balustrade. And by improved, I mean look more like other entrances in the neighborhood.
The rear entry?
The entry to the left, so the front entry there, on the
You
left
want-
side.
Oh,
of-
this is front.
You want us to add a railing there?
Yes. I think that would be more appropriate than a porch without any type of railing. Below the stairs there, you should have some lattice skirting, composite or wood, not flat vinyl, please. And then I just had a question regarding the gutter off that entry. Does that have a downspout coming down the east side of the column there, or where is that gutter heading?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it would have to go in the intersection of the corner where that shadow line is, Ryan.
Yeah, bring it back this way and then down.
Okay,
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Let me just look at my report one more time. I think I covered anything. Did you have any other questions from my report?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Before, could we see the accessory building, the garage?
Sure.
It's a garage, correct?
Yes, it's a garage.
And where it is on the lot? Because I see from this picture, I didn't realize that really nice brick building is behind this building. Do you own that too, the brick building?
No, that was, so it's an interesting, I don't know the exact history of it, but what I've been told by my wife's family is that it was owned, the lot, which I guess would be to the west? I don't know. The lot going north on Montclair Avenue
Mm-hmm.
was owned by a plumber, and behind his house, he had like a big workshop or storage facility or something like that. And then in 2006 or something, it was converted to 4 condominiums.
Oh,
So now
okay.
the property is divided. So that brick building is actually for 1 or 2 bedroom condos, is my understanding, and the front is a single family house.
Yes, okay, thanks. So can you just point out where that, okay.
Garage is here.
Yeah. So that,
It's in the rear of the property. This is a downgrade. So that, and the reason for the garage variance, the garage actually is 24 by 24. We offset the 2 framing bays and 2 parking bays to allow for the angle of the property line. So I could get it closer in and leave more room for backup here. That's
Okay.
the reason for the variance. Otherwise, the structure is actually 24 by 24.
Okay. Do you have a design of the garage?
Yes, there's a picture for it.
yeah. That's it right
It's
there.
here.
Okay.
So typically, it'll have the same finishes as the house, asphalt shingles, cement siding.
And the doors? The door, the,
There's 2 doors, both have half lights in them.
I meant the garage door, those. Are those sort of simulating stable
Barn
doors?
doors, yes.
Barn doors with the
Yes.
X's on
But
them.
they will be overhead acting doors, but they will be that appearance.
Okay. So this, as I think Stephen noted, it's not, it's minimally visible from the street.
Right.
But the scale and the siding and the architectural treatment is subordinate to the proposed house, what you're proposing for the house.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. No, I think it's attractive.
It's pretty neat. Like, you know, I lived in Chicago before I moved to New Jersey, so there's a lot of big brick buildings
Right.
on the sides of backyards, and that's kind of what this yard feels like to me. Like, there's a bunch of common brick on the side of this old, what was a
Yes.
warehouse. Cool. And I like it. Maybe a lot of people wouldn't like a giant brick building in their backyard, but to me, it's like, you know, I'm excited to have it. I want to plant some ivy on it. They can't kill me.
Okay, all right, thank you. So we'll open it up for discussion now. Caroline, do you have anything?
No, I said my piece.
Okay, Steve?
I think we've covered most everything.
Jerry?
I think it's the modifications make it more consistent with the historical character of the area, and I think the modification, the addition of the garage are consistent with the guidelines.
And Nick?
I'm very supportive of it. I think it's a really nice massing. It looks very traditional and consistent with the types of houses that they built that had the hip roof and then the front-facing gable. I agree with my fellow commissioners and our consultant on the siding and the windows that, you know, no wood grain, faux wood grain if you do go with composite. I think the front facade would be really improved with two separate windows kind of aligned with each other on those
Okay.
front two rooms that give it a little bit more height to it. And yeah, I think the windows, as many as we can, would benefit from having some muntins in them to have a divided light look. I wouldn't hold them to a double hung window in a condition of approval just because you have to have a really big double hung window to make egress work for a second floor bedroom if it's a new room like this. So it might have to get really big to be a double hung window. I'd be supportive of a check rail if it's the right window size overall that looks right on the facade, but definitely for muntins in the windows, I think it would be really improved. And I liked a little bit of ornament that's on the front facade too. I wouldn't lose that. I like the brackets and a little bit of adornment for the front of it. I think goes a long way.
Thank you. So now you're going to the zoning board when are they going?
April 20.
April 28th? Okay. So,
April 22nd is when we're hoping for.
oh,
No
All right.
No commitment?
You're on the end of an agenda that is quite long, so I'll talk to you about it because we didn't finish our hearings from last time. But I'm going to put you on the agenda and we'll see how it goes.
so
Okay.
suggestions before you go to that board would be really to have a streetscape to show them what you've intended to do with the design. And then I would also request that we have a design review committee, which isn't the full commission. So once you get the design, the revised design with our suggestions, you could just call up Zanab and we can meet even online, virtually. And
Okay.
just, and then just, I think that would be a good progress for this. But I think with the suggestions that we've made, it's very, I think it'll be a benefit and,
We have no objections, Mr. Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, great. Yeah, I think it'll be a good addition to Montclair Avenue.
Okay, good. It is really like, it's wrapped in aluminum right now. It's a kind of a hot mess. So I would think that probably what I'll ask George to do, because, yeah, I replace these windows all the time, is like the common size would be like 24 or 32 by 52 for the first floor, and then just slightly shorter on the second floor, and happy to align them and put a smaller one on the front-facing gable, if that's what, you know.
Okay, so basically, we've covered everything that, being this is in a proposed historic district, how to make this better for us and also for the zoning board. All right,
Happy to help.
okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and good luck.
Thank you for your time this evening.
So, just, this is my first run through this, and it'll probably be something that I deal with professionally as well. So this is, does the zoning board now get your opinion on this, or? what-
Yes, we don't, they're the ones that actually make the decision, that grant you the variances.
Okay.
So what we've discussed is whether these variances fit within the historic district, and also what the design of the house, how that fits in with the historic district. And we work as a team, and they've been very, I think they've been appreciative of what our recommendations have been.
Great. So then we will revise the drawings and then essentially have your.
So, yeah, so you can, I would say based on the comments, none of them really affect the zoning, so you don't have to revise before going to the zoning board, but they will ask you, do you intend to comply? And then you say yes or no, and then after that, when you do submit your plans, DRC would like to see them, right?
Yeah, we would like, yeah,
If you do have the opportunity to review them before, it's up to you, but you're not required.
We can send you revised drawings
Okay.
way in advance.
Okay.
So the board can have that special meeting, so we have that approval in place prior to the zoning board.
Perfect, that would work.
yeah, that would work. I think that,
We can do that. Okay.
it just makes your case stronger, too.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right.
Thank you. for
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your emails. Nice
Oh, yeah,
to
no,
meet
of
you.
course. Yeah, you as well.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
good night. The next application is also a Board of Adjustment referral. It's application 2966, and it's for 117 Undercliff Road. Would you come forward, please?
Oh, great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi.
Hi.
Is anyone else going to,
I think I'm the only one to be tested.
okay, that's fine. That's enough. Well, the more the merrier, usually. You just have to raise your right hand. I have to swear you in, and then you have to identify yourself with relationship to the project. So, do you swear to tell the whole truth about this project?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
My name is J.R. Frank. I'm a licensed architect and professional planner in the state of New Jersey. I was hired by Mr. Galesi to help him on the design of this detached garage.
Okay, great.
Do you want any additional, you know?
No, that's fine. And then what we'll ask you to do is go through the application, and before we do that, though, I will introduce the application. So the project description is, please sit down, is the applicant proposes to construct a detached garage to the rear of the single-family dwelling. The garage measures 36 feet in width, 24 feet in depth, and 25.96 feet in height. The existing driveway will connect to the new garage. The primary dwelling measures 35 feet in height. The historic significance of this is the main dwelling is considered a contributing structure in the estate area potential historic district. The single-family home was designed by architect M.J. Stillman. The building is in excellent condition, with a high degree of integrity of design and materials, and was built within the district's period of significance. The 2.5-story, 4-bay Tudor Revival house utilizes a center hall plan, and the house is covered by a side gabled roof with an extended overhang. And this property is located in the R1 one-family zone district, and a request is being requested from the Montclair zoning code to permit an accessory structure height of 25.96 feet, where maximum height of 15 feet is permitted.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so these are the proposed drawings of the proposed garage. These are the drawings of the proposed garage.
That is correct, yes.
Okay,
Again, first of all, the report by your staff is excellent. Probably the best report I've ever
oh, thank you.
read out to the state, so phenomenal job here. As you can see, the drawings are part of your packet. What we're proposing is a detached garage for the existing home. There was a carriage house at one time that was subdivided from the property, so presently the owner does not have a covered garage for his vehicles. So what we're proposing here is, again, a 3-car garage. What we did was look at the architecture and some of the elements of the existing structure and incorporate them into the design. And that one of the reasons that we're in front of would be in front of the board for a variance is for height. Again, what we're doing here is working with the gable and the massing of the existing home. We have a substantial pitch to the gable that matches the existing home. Also, we're proposing a faux shed dormer. Again, picking up some of those elements of that, that Gothic, kind of the Tudor revival, some of the fletch work that you see on those homes, the exposed timber and stucco. So we're picking up most of those elements so that this home does not detract from the existing structure. We're not proposing to put a slate roof on this home because the existing slate roof, I don't know if anyone has a chance to drive by the home, it's amazing. It's a hand-split slate roof, different sizes, different dimensions.
I'm sorry, could you
Oh, I'm
speak?
sorry.
Yeah.
Is it on? Or no, it's not? Okay, great. I'm sorry.
And make sure the green button is on.
Went off. Now it's on. I apologize. So do you want me to start over, or shall I just?
No,
okay.
I just couldn't hear about the slate roof.
Okay, the existing home has a hand-split slate roof that's, it's amazing, but again, there's no way that we could duplicate that on this structure. So what we're proposing is a fiberglass a roof shingle, not a slate roof. But we are proposing brick and a hard stucco. We're going to have the window frames match the color of the existing home. We're showing divided lights in those, and that's in the dormer. If you look at looking at the elevations, I mean, I could probably go, I'll talk loud so you can hear me. Thank you. As you can see, the west elevation, that's showing that a shed dormer. That shed dormer will have, we're going to do awning windows there because of the scale, and we didn't want to use double hungs because the home actually has casements, and also the amount of glazing. I think it has a much nicer presence and scale to it. Also, we're proposing windows on the north elevation and also on the south elevation to kind of break up the facade a little bit. As I actually we described before, we're proposing a mortar table of brick to match the existing home, and then above that, the exposed timber and stucco exterior finish. Also part of the design is decorative brackets that occur at the garage doors. Again, utilizing some of the elements that occur on the existing home and trying to incorporate it as best we can. And I think that's pretty much the overall view. I agree with the comments by your staff, and I think this would not detract at all from the neighborhood. And also consider, if anyone has a chance to drive by the location, the house is kind of tucked away, so it's not something that is on even though it says a corner piece of property, this garage is kind of tucked away on the site and is barely noticeable from the street when it's constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Does the board have any questions for me? Or?
Yeah, I have a question. The garage doors, are those, they look like they have hinges on them.
Yes.
Are they to be open like this?
No, they're going to be sectional garage doors. We're just going to do faux hinges on them to make them look like carriage doors.
Okay, that's why I didn't
Yeah.
understand that. Okay. And the siding on the lot is in between the house and what was the original carriage house?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So if you're facing the home, I see there's photographs in the report, it would be to the left of the front elevation.
All right, so we'll open up with questions. Nick, you want to start?
I'm sure. I don't know exactly what's behind you, but did you, for the rear elevation where the brick water table gets really high because of the drop off, did you look at maybe like stepping down the stucco and timber just so it's a little less brick on the back part and a little bit?
I mean, we could do that, actually. I think my client would probably be receptive to that. I mean, we could nicely maybe find a point. I mean, I think that's a great suggestion, actually. Do we find a point somewhere here and bring that back in that point?
Yeah, I mean,
location here?
it may be that nobody ever sees it anyway. I don't know how dense the landscaping is behind there, but just if I'm in the neighboring property, it's kind of an imposing amount of brick.
No, I think that's a great suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the garage doors, are they real wood or composite painted?
They're gonna be painted to look like wood, they're not
Mhm.
gonna be real wood doors. I mean,
Right.
the real wood doors, as you know, they're costly and
Mhm.
become a maintenance nightmare for my client.
Okay. All right, yeah, I think those are my only, and the windows, are they composite as well, or wood windows with,
They're not they're gonna be composite, they're not, but
Okay.
they're gonna be painted to match the color of the existing home.
Mhm.
They're kind of almost like a dark green. I mean, it doesn't show well in the photographs there, but, and also the home itself has incredible leaded glass windows, but again, you know, to get I think Mr. Galesi's father had some gentleman in Italy fabricate those windows back in like in the 1960s, so I don't.
yeah,
know if he's
not
still-
easy.
Yeah.
And then for the roof shingles, I know you're specifying fiberglass. Are you going to be looking at like one of the products that has kind of the color variation from
Yes,
tile
yes,
to tile, so
correct,
that it
yes.
kind of mimics a little bit of the house?
Yeah, it's gonna, again, it's gonna be a fiberglass shingle that,
Mhm.
again, has, again, these are it's in modeling that you would see with a slate roof, but it's not, again, yourself, or most people will not say that's a slate roof on the house, that it's a different roof, but it's not gonna be a different color, it's just gonna have a different texture to it.
Okay. I think that's all I had for right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Sweeney?
Will the garage or any portion of it be visible to either to people on Undercliff Road or Eagle Rock, or is it just minimally visible?
Again, considering the difference in the grade, I mean, even though we're raising the garage up to get positive drainage, this driveway, I don't know if you ever been to on this intersection here, but the driveway drops down dramatically to the front of the home. So the visibility is gonna be blocked by the carriage house, and also the fact that the home itself and the garage is gonna sit lower than Undercliff Road.
So the answer will be what?
It'd be minimal.
Minimally visible or not visible?
It'll be minimally visible. Nothing's not visible. Well,
That island in front of it, which has this tall pine trees, you can't see the garage at all.
again, that's one of the, again, a friend of the owner, in that he's correct in that he's referring to the amount of existing mature landscaping that exists there. So the visibility would be minimized, pretty well minimal from that intersection.
Okay, thank you. Second, just confirm, you don't have a garage now? Or
That's correct. There's no garage.
Did
there.
you have a garage before?
The home had a carriage house. The home had a carriage house that was subdivided years ago, and
Right.
so
That
there,
was
that was a carriage house, right. So for as long as I've known the property, you know, almost 20-some years now that I've worked with Mr. Galesi on other properties, this home did not have a garage. He parks, you know, in basically the drive in front of his home.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Mr. Rooney?
I really don't have any questions because you can't see it at all, really, from Undercliff. And that's the front of the house.
So my question, but I think you answered it. Those, there's a view, like a bird's eye view, and where the red,
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
Square.
referring to the report, yes. I'm sorry.
from the report, it looks like there's trees and an island in front of it. Those trees are to remain?
That is correct, yes.
Oh,
All
okay.
the work's happening, the garage itself is set back from the front facade of the house.
Okay. And then I see the variances is for the height of the garage, correct?
That is
Because, but how tall is the actual house?
The house is well over 35 feet.
Okay, so the garage will be,
The gable of the garage, the ridge of the garage will be much lower than the primary structure, but the reason we're in front of the board for the variance is that we want to have the pitch of the garage to match the pitch of the existing home. And if you limit it to per the 15 feet per the ordinance, we'd have like maybe a 4-on-12 pitch on this home, and that low pitch would not be in character of the architecture of the existing home.
okay, thank you for explaining that. Ms. Kane-Levy?
I don't have any questions, no.
Okay, so we'll ask Mr. Smolin to go over his report now.
Okay, and I would ask possibly for, if the board is, again, we'll make the changes that were suggested. I think that's great with stepping down the stucco. But I would hope that in the board's recommendation, they would note that the height variance that we're seeking is going to be for a C2 variance, which basically would require variance is for a design improvement. And I think that granting this variance, it results in a design that's compatible and with the architecture of the existing home.
So we actually make the recommendation to the zoning board. They're the ones that would grant the
I
variance.
understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying just, it would, again, the reason for the variance in this case especially is to provide a detached garage that, again, is in the character of the existing structure.
Yes, and you've explained that very well, I think.
Thank you.
All right, so, Mr. Smolin?
Okay, I agree. I drove by the property. It's really difficult to see the primary building, and it's going to be very likely even more difficult to see this proposed three-car garage. I don't believe the garage or any of the site work is really physically touching the existing primary building.
That's correct.
That's correct, okay. So that's great. It's obviously not altering any of the character of the primary building. None of the views from the right-of-way should be obstructed by this proposed garage, which will allow it to continue to retain a high degree of historic integrity. The proposed garage is certainly subordinate in height, massing to and massing to the primary structure, so that's consistent with the Secretary of the Interior standards and your design guidelines. I think the design that's being proposed is certainly compatible, but not mimicking the primary structure, the Tudor revival from over 100 years ago. And I think overall the material finishes being proposed are compatible with the primary structure. We spoke about the garage door, and the applicant said that will look like wood, and I certainly think it will from 100 feet away on the street. I had one question on the west elevation on drawing A1, just in terms of what materials proposed for the water table course between the brick and the stucco.
Well, we're gonna, if you look at the existing home, that, it's actually a piece of trim. That's where they start to timber at that point. So we're gonna mimic the actual water table detail that's on the home right now.
Okay, great. That's all I had.
All right, thank you. Any other further comments? No? Well, I think you've heard that we're in agreement with this project.
Oh, thank you.
And now it'll go to the zoning board, and there'll be a recommendation that Zainab will write in her report, which is what Nick was suggesting with the lowering of the brick, right?
Yeah, maybe, better proportion between the two on
Yeah,
that
I think
facade.
that's,
And one other comment for you when you go to the zoning board, in addition to matching the house pitch, you should also mention that you have a hardship with the way the grade is. Your height is 25 feet because it measures from average grade that drops off so much toward the back. It doesn't look like a 25-foot building at all, certainly from the front. So that works in the hardship works in your variance criteria as well, if you mention it. It's unique lot characteristics that are affecting why you need this variance.
Yeah, so again, we could argue both the C1 and C2.
Right.
But I think in this case especially, I think the C2 is very evident to anyone looking at this application.
In a lot of municipalities, I don't believe Montclair does, but you get a bonus if you're trying to match the house roof pitch. So, I know the town I work in, you get another 3 feet if you're matching a historic roof pitch on a house. They, assume you have to make it taller for that. So those are all kind of working in your favor for this, so.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it'll be a very welcome addition to the neighborhood, I think.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay.
I understand we don't have a date yet. We're not yet on the agenda.
No, tentatively May or June,
Ooh.
unfortunately. I hate delivering bad news, I'm sorry.
I was hoping, again, I couldn't hurt to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
and good luck.
Let's watch the roll.
Wow, I think this is the earliest we've been out of a, any other issues that we have to discuss tonight? No? All right. So it is 8, almost 8:40, and we're ready to adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.